Hello everyone, welcome back. This is day 7. We are already 1 week in and it's our first focused practice. So it's short and sweet and we are going to be focusing on our fingers, wrists, forearms. So find just a little bit of space to move and let's get started. So we will begin lengthening our fingers so you can sit in any way that allows you to bring your fingertips to the ground. Spread them wide. Turn your palms to face forwards. Feel free to also do one hand at a time. But with the fingertips touching the ground, send your thumbs out wide too. And you can either hold it steady, hold it still, or you can add a little pulse, kind of forwards and back. Just notice that nice stretch through your fingers into your palms, maybe up into your forearm. And just switch sides if you're doing one hand. And if you're doing both, we'll just stay a little bit longer. Such a small area of the body can have such a big stretch sensation feeling. So take just another moment here or stay a little longer if you need to even things out. But you can lift your hands back up off the ground. You might just place your palms on your knees and then let your fingers wiggle, relax. We are going to stay seated here, so if you're comfortable, great. If not, move to a comfortable seat. And we're just going to bring the top of the hands together. Our fingers might be pointing down. You can spread the fingers wide too, if you'd like to do that. Maybe the pinkies can touch, maybe the thumbs can touch. And then just lift up the hands a little bit and try to drop the elbows a little bit. So a gentle press into the top of the hands. Trying to drop the elbows slightly and lift the wrists up a touch. And then just let that go. You might make some fists and take some wrist circles. Few in one direction. And then switching directions. And then we're going to come over onto our hands and knees. So find your way into tabletop. And we're going to be taking our left hand and turning the fingers out to the side. Spread the fingers wide. Try to connect your palm flat to the ground as best you can. We're just going to do one hand at a time here. So maybe turning the fingers to point to your knee. Spread the fingers wide. You could add a very gentle sway forwards and back if you want, or just be still. But just notice what you feel throughout your forearm, your wrist, your hand. And then if you did flip those fingers to point all the way towards your knee, just bring them back so they're pointing out to the side. Just a second here. A gentle press of the palm into the ground with the fingers pointing out to the side. And then we're going to turn our palm to face up and our fingers are going to point towards the right side. Just a nice gentle counter stretch. You can keep the fingers pointing to the right, or you can flip them, point them towards your knee. Palm facing up. Try to touch your thumb and your pinky to the ground. And then if you'd like to lift up and off of that left hand, you could stand on the knees, sit on the heels, but you might make a fist and take some more wrist circles. You might massage your wrist joint with your right hand. But switch directions. And maybe even let that fist go and just give the hand a bit of a shake. The fingers maybe even a flick. And then we're just gonna switch sides. So our right hand, fingers turning out to the right side first. Spread the fingers wide. Connect your palm to the ground as best you can, and maybe you stay here, and maybe you turn the fingers to point towards your knee. Feel free to add that gentle sway forwards and back if it feels good, or be still. Just notice what you feel. Breathing softly. And then we'll start to turn the fingers slowly back out to the right side just for a moment. If they were facing the knee, connect your palm. And then taking your palm to face up and maybe the fingers pointing to the left, spread the fingers wide a little bit. And maybe turning the fingers to point towards the knee. Can you touch your thumb and your pinky and all three fingers in between to the ground? Nice job, you guys. You can lift up off of that right hand, the left one too. Stand on the knees, sit on the heels, but maybe making a fist and taking some wrist circles. And a little massage for that wrist joint. And then you can switch directions if you're making some nice wrist circles. And then you can let that go. Maybe give the hands a little bit of a shake, the fingers a little bit of a flick. So we're going to stay on our knees here. You're going to take your left hand. You're going to make a nice fist. Bring your forearm to the ground. So the palms facing up and you're making a fist. Hold your left hand with your right to keep your fist nice and snug. And then you might start to lift your forearm up. Lift the elbow, try to straighten your arm, keeping your fist nice and snug. A gentle press of the top of the hand into the ground, and then just trying to take the bend out of the elbow until you feel some love through the hand, the forearm, maybe all the way up into your shoulder if you're lucky. But keep that fist nice and snug. If you were able to lift the elbow, the forearm up, just slowly bring it back down. And you can let your hands go from one another, maybe wiggle your fingers. We're just switching sides. Right forearm down, making your fist. So palm up, make your fist, hold your fist. Keep it nice and snug, and then maybe you lift your elbow, your forearm, but trying to keep the top of the hand connected to the ground. So we're kind of bending at the wrist joint a little bit, but a little bit of pressure, just gentle pressure, keeping the top of the hand touching the ground. And maybe trying to take the bend out of the elbow. Awesome work, you guys. If you did lift your arm up, just slowly bring it down again onto the forearm, and then you can let your hands go from one another. Wiggle your fingers, maybe start to lift up off the hands completely. I just want you to make your way to a comfy seat again, whatever that's gonna look like for you, but free up your hands. So we're gonna bring the top of our hands together again with our fingers pointing down. You might spread the fingers wide, a gentle press of the top of the hands together. Okay, let's try to make a line between elbow, wrists, and elbow. Then try to drop the elbows like we did before. So gentle press of the top of the hands together as the elbows try to drop. And it might be a nice small micro movement that you can't even see. Now let your hands go from one another. Maybe take a quick wrist circle or a couple, and then bring your palms together with your fingers pointing up. And that is it. That is all. You have finished the first week of our month-long yoga journey together. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you again tomorrow. Namaste.